very proud of the effort of the guys coming off the bench. I thought they was the difference in the game. You know, Austin Peay is Matt Figure, they're a very good basketball team, very experienced team. You can see that. First half, I thought the rhythm of the game was to their favor. I thought they out hustled us to loose balls. In the second half, we had some guys that came off and gave us some big minutes, and hopefully it's a breakthrough game for guys like Desi. I thought he was really big, and defensively and offensively, attacking their pressure defense. And then, of course, Keyshawn, he goes on a run by himself. And I always tell our guys, you know, be ready. And so I thought our team got better tonight. Why I got better, I thought we saw some guys, especially young guys. You look out there was, I think, 2 sophomores, Mason and Daniel. And then you had the freshmen, Desi, Keyshawn, and who was the third one? It was Keyshawn and Reggie Chaney. And I thought they were out there, you know, when the game was on the line. And as it was on the line, they were out there making plays offensively, defensively, sharing the basketball. I thought it got really excited in here. So to me, it's a growth in our basketball team, and that's what's needed. This team here, what you see right now, by late January, it'll be a totally different team. The one thing we got to continue to address is rebounding the basketball. We make teams take difficult shots. We've got to come up with those rebounds. They took a lot of long threes, and they just seem like they just out-hustle to get to the ball. And so that second, third, and fourth, fifth effort, we've got to get better at that in a hurry, because when you get to conference play, the games are won in the paint. We were able to win in the paint, utilizing Daniel, got their main guy in foul trouble. I thought that was a big difference in the game. But when you talk about efficient minutes, what Keyshawn did tonight was very efficient, and we needed it to happen at a big, at a big time, and he stepped up and made some plays for us.
Yeah, Mike, kind of adding on to Keyshawn, he scored 14 points in 9 minutes in the second half. I mean, that's very efficient, like you said. What do you think kind of was the key to him getting going like that, and how big was that when you guys were down by 4? And
Keyshawn's, I mean, if you think on the year, Keyshawn's had some, periods where he's played well. Especially defensively. Offensively, I think it's just a matter of before everything kind of clicks for him. But he got the ball in the baseline attack, and I thought that really tied the game up, I think, at 50 off. And then, of course, now our defense is intact. We're rebounding the ball. We're pushing the ball, catching him in the open floor, and he's knocking down shots, making plays, and attacking the basket. I thought he just played with a lot of confidence. It's in him, and we've seen it in practices, so it's good to see it take place in the game.
You encouraged by Bailey's little spurt to start the second half?
I thought Adriel came out. He got in foul trouble. He only played 8 minutes, but I thought, his presence out on the floor was very evident. Defensively, he was really getting at it. Then I thought in the second half he came and gave us some more energy. So again, when you talk about efficient minutes, that's what we're talking about, guys. And the beauty of this team now is that we got other guys now stepping up in that role. When you talk about in that particular position, you got a guy like Gabe. He didn't have one of his better games. But then how about Reggie Chaney? He gets in and tell you what, it just gives us another different athletic type team when you got him and you got Daniel. So again, these guys are starting to figure it out. How to function and play well with one another.
Mike, Harris has obviously had a great floor game season for you with assists and everything, but he was 2 of 25 on threes, and then he had a huge three with, I don't know, a minute something left. How big was that, and do you think he could get going? I mean, he could be a better three-point shooter? Or just what do you think about that shot?
I
it was
thought
a big shot.
He took a rhythm shot. It was a rhythm shot. He shoots the ball well in practice. It's just a matter, again, just carrying over to the game. I thought the guys found him, and he knocked it down. So it's just timing. I think it's going to happen for him because people are backing off of him. But when you don't think about it and just shoot it, then you see the results. And he's got to be effective out there on the floor for us.
Jordan Phillips had a nice little spark at the end of the first half. Can you talk about that? 4 points and a 6-3 run gave you a 1-point lead at halftime.
I thought he gave us some great minutes, and we're going to build on that. He'll build on that. I thought in the second half he didn't get out and play as much as he probably wanted to or I wanted him to, but I think he showed that he's ready to play now, and that was big when he came out. I think we had another young group out there at that point in time. We were down, and they made a run to get us back in it, and so That's the growth of this team. When those guys are getting those valuable minutes, when the game matters, that's why I say that. Guys can play when it's mop-up time and you got a 20-point lead, all that stuff. I'm talking when the game's on the line, and that's going to come back and pay big dividends for us. I think what happens, your team gets to grow, and it puts competition. Guys like Jalen Harris, he can't sit there and rest on his laurels. Same way with Mason Jones. They can't sit there and rest. They got to come with it every single day because those guys are making strides. When I looked out there tonight, I just saw a different energy level with that group came off the bench. And maybe these guys are getting tired, the guys that start out. But it was much needed tonight, and that's how this team's going to have to function in order to be successful. It's got to be the ultimate team.
Mike, Mason's has a lot of good games for, but 1 of 10 tonight. I think he just had an off night.
Well, we had other guys going. I mean, he didn't make shots. I thought he took some tough shots. He had some baskets to the hole where he didn't finish. But he had some nice assists out there. I thought he was out there with the group that actually made the big run there. We're at 20 to 5 run. He was out there, so he's instrumental in doing other things. When you're not shooting the ball well, what are the things that you're doing to help our team? He had 4 assists. He had some nice passes to the baseline. Especially, I remember the one that attacked the baseline and give it to Reggie, and Reggie scoops it to Daniel. That's highlight stuff, and that's what I'm used to seeing with these guys. They share it, they do it in practice, and so it's good to see them come out and showcase it in a game setting.
Mike, you called the timeout. I think you were down 4 in the second half. They had just had a fast break. Do you remember what the message was during that timeout?
We had to come out and execute and score, and I thought we did. I thought we came out, and I think Daniel got a dunk or something. We got a layup. We had an attack, and I think Daniel got a layup. And then I think it triggered our defense. I thought I picked up our intensity on defense. And then, of course, we went to the matchup, and I thought that stopped them from getting dribble penetration and make them shoot jump shots. They only made 4 threes. And I think even going down the stretch, they were like 4 for 19, 15 or something like that there. So our defense really kicked in. Our guys on a matchup defense cut the penetration out and made them take tough shots.
Mike, you outscored him 21 to 5 in turnovers. How big was that?
I thought that was big. I thought it was big. We had 14 steals, and a lot of those came in the second half. In the first half, we were really sloppy with the ball again. We had 7 turnovers ourselves, and we ended up with 11 for the game. And I think a couple of them were, one of them I know was a charge, and one was an illegal screen. So we did a much better taking care of the ball and staying in attack mode. But our pressure defense, I thought, was the difference in the game. I thought it wore them down. I mean, they only shot 35% in the second half. They didn't shoot it well, and they're a much better shooting team from the three-point line. So our defense, again, it has an effect, and I thought it was a big difference in the game. Free throw line, they get to the free throw line. They're a really good free throw shooting team, but they didn't knock them down tonight like they normally do.
I'll make this a 2-for-1 if that's okay. You allude to the rebounding. The third straight game you guys have been outscored in second chance points. I guess how big a focal point will that be this week in practice? And just how do you feel about having a full week of practice going into SEC play? How do you feel about this team?
Well, I think it's much needed. We've had a chance to have games, and even when a break. Now we come back and it's kind of a little out of rhythm the first half. Now, how can we build on that? There are some things we can add on. There's some things we can take out and get better at the things that we know that are going to be our strength. Obviously, with Daniel, we got to be able to how can we get the ball into him at times and move him around on the floor? How can we get the tempo back up? We've got to do it with our defense, and it's got a mixture of defense. So I'm looking forward to this opportunity to have some tour days, and it's just basketball. They don't have to worry about school, and try to get ready for the next step, which is conference play, and that's a different season. So 2018 is over with, and now we'll turn our focus and get ready for Texas A&M, a very good basketball team, and one of their strengths, they rebound the basketball. So we've got to be able to address that. I think we have the personnel. Now we just got to have the mindset to go in and battle on the board and get physical. And you saw when we rebound the basketball and we get the ball on open floor, we're a pretty dangerous team because we got so many guys that can attack, guys can spot up, and then of course you got a guy running forward like Daniel Gafford and Reggie Chaney.
And the second chance points, I think it's 50 to 12 the last 3 games for the other team. How troubling is that?
Well, it's troubling because you play defense and all of a sudden you let up. And I thought we did again tonight. We made them take a lot of long threes. And it just seemed like we have guys that are contesting, and the guy that shot it, he's actually coming to get in the rebound. And that's all about effort there. And so we'll fix that. We'll fix that, whether it be personnel or we'll fix that. But it's something we're going to continue to stress because, again, it doesn't even make sense. You play defense and you don't rebound the basketball. All right. Happy New Year to everybody.